So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our another OCS playoff game. As always, I am Dan Tartaglione, also known as DTartag1. Tonight, we have Game 1 and Game 2 of the top 16 match between Tom Strother and Gavin Ortlund. I'm going to be streaming Game 1, and then Chris Schoenthal is going to be streaming Game 2. Definitely going to be an exciting match. Tom, our number 2 seed, ended up picking Gavin as his opponent for this. And I definitely think this is going to be a very interesting match. There's definitely some history between our two players. And definitely some, I believe a certain someone, Mr. Tom, is currently out there seeking vengeance of some sort. I don't know. But if you've paid attention to Hollow Theater and some of the other streams that have gone on lately, he has mentioned it quite a few times. However, earlier today we saw... earlier today we saw Jeff Levine take Game 1 against Justin Branch. So here we go. The players have started. Our match is set, and this is going to be fun. I like this. Definitely not something I was anticipating. I was very, very, very interesting. So we have Watto versus QMC. I was not putting either of these players on either of these decks. So definitely an interesting match. But here we go. Gavin going with You Cannot Hide Forever and Mobilization Points combo. Nichubana and Wipe Them Out, all of them. Tom going with Belden's Eye and All My Urchins, keeping the Empire out forever. And that's pretty much it. He also has he started the computer interface as his starting interrupt, so he did get the these other sight. Gavin went ahead and got Rendley on his first turn. Tom immediately played Don't Do That Again to suspend the card. Okay, Gavin goes and plays Imperial Command and in range. That's going to allow him to grab Admiral Ozzel. So it looks like he's going to start off with the normal first turn flip, do some damage to your opponent, play of Watto. I really don't know. I kind of like the idea. I mean, we do have the bracket prediction contest, but I do like the idea of a bingo card. In our earlier game, Jeff Levine versus Justin Branch, I would have had Justin on Walkers or ISB. He is that type of a control player. This, not at all. Neither of these players I would have had on either of these decks. But that's just my opinion. Okay, there's Rendley going down for Gavin. Watto going down for free. And we know that Gavin also has Ozzel in his hand. So there's Malistaire, virtual. I know he's probably sleeping right now, but I really wish that Chris Kelly was here right now. He would be loving this. But thank you all for joining us. Star Wars After Dark. Watto going to go get the Chance Cube. Still no Ozzel. There's the We Must Accelerate Our Plans. Gavin's going to go get out his Blockade Flagship Bridge. Yep, there it is. So, solid first turn so far from Gavin. One other card I would like to see is a Sebulba. But none of those yet. Speak of the devil. Gavin going to use Nichubana to go get Sebulba. I hear he always wins. Yeah, I agree, Justin. I do want to ask, what is your take on this matchup? I know that Tom is a teammate of yours, and we have Watto, like I said, Watto versus QMC. There goes Cara Dune with Heavy Blaster Rifle, and Hojix to the Lost Pile. So right off the bat, losing Hojix can be a little bit bad here, but we'll see. Sebulba coming down for free to Moss Espa. So Gavin has almost a full array of cards that he used to deploy. He activated. I imagine Justin Desai, one of our three-time world champs, says, I imagine it favors Tom if he can get it to a stable point in the mid-game. Yeah, if he's able to get to the point where he's retrieving, doing a lot more damage, yeah, I agree. And being that there's Bespin, there's two systems, that's going to give Tom the ability to not have to hold Bespin like you normally do want to focus on holding Bespin. Being that you have Cloud City Celebration going down there. But if Tom is able to generate some sort of other form of retrieval, that's usually good. Gavin going to move Sebulba over to the Watto's Junkyard. And it looks like he's going to draw some cards. Again, Game 2 will be right after this. So if... our tournament advocate, Chris Schoenthal, will actually be doing commentary. As for me, I kind of don't want to be up till 1, 2 o'clock, even though I definitely want to know who I definitely will watch the game at some point tomorrow. Gavin activates. Tom gets out his grabber. Gonna get out another site with his objective. Yes, very interesting. That's a good point there, Justin. We have seen nothing but a decipher objectives. So far, we have seen Quiet Mining Colony. We have seen Double Quiet Mining Colony, ISB Operations, and now Watto. Maybe that trend. I don't know. Will we see the trend later in Game 2? Okay, so Tom going ahead and deploying the Overseer with Harksef on it. And he'll just go ahead and draw some cards. So again, we know that Gavin has the Admiral Ozzel in his hand, so I'll be able to go deploy him for free again, do Watto shenanigans, and then see what happens. Okay, so Tom does have the Goldenrod shield out, so if Gavin wants to go ahead and deploy something for free, it will become 2 force. But very interesting to see that both of our games so far have been double Quiet Minded Colony. No battle order or battle plan, so Gavin's going to drain for free. There goes the lower corridors off the top of the deck for Tom. As we move into the deploy phase, Gavin going to go get the Watto Chance Cube. I'm assuming he put that back last turn, so that may Tom had to lose 2 cards to the Watto objective. It's one of the nice things for Watto is you can just keep cycling that card back. Mike Kessling saying that QMC is tier 1. And, ooh, here we go, everybody. Gavin going to go with the Emperor's personal shuttle. Tom has the barrier. Gavin going to grab the barrier. That makes sense. Now, Tom only has 2 cards left in his force pile. So, let's see what... Okay. Ooh, and Gavin playing the Vengeance. He baited out the barrier with the Emperor's shuttle to play the Vengeance. And again, we know he has Admiral Ozzel, so he could possibly get 2 Destiny here if he's got an Imperial Command. Note, at the beginning of the game, however, he did play Imperial Command and in range. So the question is now is, does he have just regular Imperial Command? If you are a Gavin fan, you have to like the aggression. And if he is able to win this battle, he would cause a point of damage with the Vengeance Games text. There's Admiral Ozzo going down to the Vengeance. And interesting, Grand Admiral Thrawn V going down to Mos Espa. That's going to flip Gavin over. He'll play Surge and Destroy on top of that. Oh my gosh, not a card that, I mean, you normally do see that in Watto. However, just the fact that Gavin has all these cards right off the bat is very impressive. Like, he's going to cause us a lot of damage to Tom. There is Come Here, You Big Coward. That's going to stop any force retrieval. Tom deliberating on what he's going to do, and he loses another Hojix, and he loses the North Corridor. He's losing key cards here. And this is just not good if you're a fan of Tom. Again, Tom is our number 2 seed, and he specifically called out Gavin as he, with the exception of Chris Werfs, he had everything at his disposal. He could have had his choice of any player. He could have even picked his teammate, Justin Desai, but he went with Gavin. Gavin draws a card with Sebulba. And here we go, the Vengeance versus the Overseer. Careful planning. Oh, I like this. So this is going to allow Tom to draw Destiny, and then he's going to activate 3 more cards, or he's going to activate 3 more Force. Now, this should allow him to play the alternatives to fighting if he has it. And he does, so the battle's going to be canceled. And the Overseer will live to fight another day. However, if you're Tom, losing 2 important sites and double Hojix is not something you really wanted to see there. There goes the Search and Destroy ping. And Tom will lose another Rebel Barrier off the top of his deck. So he's losing cards off the top of his deck instead of what he has in his hand. Gavin draws his last card and will pass turn over to Tom. Tom activating 13, so he still can flip pretty easily. All he has to do is control 2 of the Cloud City locations. That will flip him. He can start pulling cards from his force pile. And the other thing is, once he occupies a, I believe it has to be a planetary location, or unless he occupies a battleground site, he should turn off Search and Destroy. So let's see how Tom is going to recover here. Not necessarily wanting to evacuate Bespin, being that it would be a drain of 2. However, that might be the play here. Okay, Maskanata going down to the carbon chamber, the carbon chamber. Gonna reveal the top 3 cards of his deck. It does look like he hits an alien. He does. Lando Calrissian V comes off the top of his deck and into Tom's hand. Leia going down for 1 force. That is Leia Organa. That allows Tom to flip. Tom's objective now becomes the 7 side. From a quiet mining colony to the independent operation, allowing Tom to now pull docking bays and pull cards out of his force pile. Tom thinking about what he wants to do here. We've already seen him play 1 alternatives to fighting. So, comes down to, does he have another one in his deck? Now, again, if he moves away from Bespin, that might save him the game. However, he will take 2 points of force loss to the force drain there, as well as 2 more to both locations at Tatooine. But again, Gavin first turn came down with both his he came down with the blockade flagship bridge. He came down with Rendalee, Malastare. So that was a solid first turn from Gavin. Tom using Lando Calrissian to pull a character with Cloud City in Lord with his hand. He's going to take Pukamir into his hand. Don't see a lot of Pukamir Thriss in modern QMC, so Tom going a little old school. And there's a Cloud City celebration, so it doesn't look like he's going to want to evacuate the Bespin system just yet. So it's really going to come down to how is he going to defend the system. Because he's staring down a Vengeance with Admiral Ozzel, and then on top of that, the Emperor's personal shuttle's there. So if Gavin has any form of the Emperor, he can easily put them there for 2 force and cause a lot of damage. So Tom saving 4 cards in his force pile. Will pass turn over to Gavin. It doesn't look like he drew any cards, though. And Tom is pretty spread out at this point. I mean, Lando doesn't draw Destiny on his own. Pukamir is all by himself at the Upper Plaza corridor. So we'll see what Tom has in his hand. Again, we know that the barrier is grabbed, and there are 2 Hojixes in his lost pile already. Tom taking a card out of his force pile. Gavin going to drain for 1 at Watto's Junkyard. There goes Hemeth, however you pronounce that, off the top of the deck. There's a drain of 1 at Mos Espa V. And there goes Arcana. Oh my gosh. Tom going super old school with this QMC build. I'm enjoying it. Hemeth adds anything she pilots, adds 2 to the blood cost of each opponent's male Imperial when that Imperial is deploying to the same or adjacent site. So Tom loses 2 cards to keep that card from deploying for free. There goes Perimeter Scan V and Imperial Interface or Computer Interface V off the top. Gavin again gets to draw a card off the top of his reserve deck with Sabulba. And Gavin has 17 cards in his force pile and 10 cards in his hand, so he's got a lot he can do. And again, he has not put... we haven't seen him grab the Watto's Chance Cube since his second turn. So it does look like he is pointing something out that he's trying to deploy for free. And here we go. Darth Vader with lightsaber going down to the West Gallery. Again, Gavin will get the first action in any battle, so even if Tom has the path of least resistance, he won't be able to do it until after Vader swings. And Lando's a pretty good card who can cancel Dark Jedi's game text. However, he cannot cancel Vader's game text. There's the path of least resistance, so Lando will shuttle over to the carbon chamber. Again, Tom still has 3 cards in his force pile. And he's already taken a card out of keeping the Empire out forever. And Kylo Ren with lightsaber going down in front of Leia Organa. Again, Path of Least Resistance is a dotted card, so unfortunately Tom cannot play another one this turn. Gavin's still in his deploy phase, taking his time thinking about what he wants to do here. Still has 8 cards in his hand and 6 cards in his force pile. Checking his destiny with Watto. Does not pull the chance cube. Again, Leia Organa is only a defense value of 3 here, so Tom will need to draw any combination that equals to 4. So that can be a 1 and a 3, a 4 and a 0, a 2 and a 2, or anything that gets above 4. And if he hits with Kylo Ren, that will cause another point of damage. And there's the Emperor getting deployed to his shuttle for 2 force. That's going to add a destiny in any battles that occur, as well as making the shuttle immune to attrition. Gavin initiates against Leia. Kylo will attack Leia with his lightsaber. Swings, draws a 3 for Destiny. Even though it is a printed Destiny of 1, the game text adds 2 to it, so it does become a 3. He only needs a 2 or higher. Or I'm sorry, he only needed a 1 or higher. He draws Blizzard 4. That is a 4. Leia will be hit, forfeit 0, and Tom will have to lose a card. And he'll lose Figure and Dan in the modal nodes. It's a pretty good card, especially in this QMC deck. Again, we saw Jeff Levine use that card earlier today. Gavin draws a Destiny of 4. Again, Leia has no forfeit value at this point. So Tom might be taking some overflow. He draws a 5. That's going to bring his total up to 8. So he is going to take an overflow of 2, though. Unless he has a 3rd Hojix. He does not. So there goes Escape Pod and We're Doomed and a Lando Calrissian off the top of his deck. Then Leia goes to the Lost Pile as well. Gavin will play Resistance and initiates Up in Space. Tom with another Alternatives to Fighting to cancel the battle. However, right now, looking at the lost piles, it's all Gavin at this point. Tom with a lost pile of 17. Gavin, only 2 cards in his lost pile. However, Tom will be able to retrieve one of those cards with Cloud City Celebration. But at this point, he really needs to do something about the Bestman system. He really can't stick around up there. Tom activates 14. He'll take a card out of his force pile with keeping the Empire out forever. Again, he's got 14 cards in his force pile. And then as he takes one out, he'll have 13 left. And he is going to get some damage through with Pukamir, as well as the Carbonite Chamber. Drains from 1 at the Upper Plaza Corridor. Gavin losing a Watto off the top of his deck. He'll retrieve 1 with the Cloud City Celebration. He will get back an Alternatives to Fighting. Not a bad card to have. He's already used it twice this game. Drains for 3 at the Carbonite Chamber. Unfortunately, there is resistance on the field, so Gavin will only lose 2 cards. He will lose Lord Ball with Lightsaber off the top of his deck and Seal Off the Bridge as well. Mascanata will reveal the top 3 cards of Tom's deck. He'll be able to pull an alien out of those 3. And he takes Din Djarin. The Mandalorian himself will make an appearance this game. Now, one thing that Tom could do is if he's able to piece together, say, the wild card and Yoda Keeper of the Peace up to Bespin, that will limit both players to only 1 Destiny up there. There's the Platform 327 docking bay. This might tell us that Tom is ready to abandon ship and land the Overseer and then move Harkseth away from the Bespin. Okay, Tom will deploy I Don't Like Sand. That's going to take 2 cards off the top of his reserve deck, put them onto that card, and then he can simply take a card off of there to limit both players to 1 Destiny. Destiny cannot be canceled or modified in any battle. Yes, both players have not played Battle Order or Battle Plan this game. And I think if you're Tom, I think you're happy about that, because if you do land the Overseer here, he won't have to pay for battle. However, it does not look like he is going to play the land the Overseer. It looks like he's going to stick around up in space as he just deploys the wild card. It is a ship that has immunity to attrition of less than 5. Gets your total battle destiny will be +1 for each smuggler aboard. Not a bad little ship. Tom currently has 6 cards in his hand after he deployed the wild card and I Don't Like Sand. Okay, Gavin looking like he's going to be doing 3 points of damage to Tom next turn. Or not. Rey coming down in front of Darth Vader with Lightsaber. That's going to allow Tom to take a card out of his used pile. So Tom not needing Yoda Keeper of the Peace just yet, as he can stall. He can reduce the Battle Destiny advantage that Gavin would have with the Emperor's Personal Shuttle by simply just taking 1 card off of I Don't Like Sand. Unfortunately, though, he can only do that twice per game, as he only has 1 copy on the table right now. Just to recap, so again, Gavin, first turn, came down with Sebulba and Watto, caused 2 points of damage. Tom lost a Sight and a Hojix. Tom did get the Overseer out. And then on Gavin's second turn, he dropped down the Emperor's Shuttle by itself. Gavin and Tom was able to barrier it. However, Gavin then deployed the Vengeance with Admiral Ozzel and initiated. Again, Tom did play the Alternatives to Fighting. I believe he's played it twice so far in this game. I know that there is 1 in the lost pile right now. Tom will pass turn over to Gavin, as he has the wild card and the Overseer up at Bespin, staring down the Vengeance and the Emperor's Personal Shuttle. Rey also staring down Darth Vader with Lightsaber on Cloud City. I don't think he did retrieve 1 this game so far with, I believe, with the Cloud City Celebration. So, however, it should be in his reserve deck. There wasn't really any overflow. It was just a lot of pressure, a lot of ping damage. So you see that Gavin has, so he did 6 points of damage with the objective. He did an extra point of damage with Search and Destroy. He also did a point of damage with the Vengeance. This isn't terrible for Tom. Again, like you say, he is going to be able to take a card off of sand, and then he is going to get a Destiny into power. But and for the most part, from what I've seen, Watto doesn't have the best Destiny. So he does have a 9-card hand, and he has 19 cards to work with in his force pile. Gavin drains at the junkyard. There goes Luke with lightsaber. Okay, so then he does drain at Mos Espa. There goes another Cloud City celebration. Tom will allow Gavin to deploy the Tempest Scout 6 for free. So the Tempest Scout 6 is deployed to Cloud City. And here we go. General Grievous going down in front of Rey. Again, Rey going down in front of Vader tells me that Tom has a path of least resistance. But first, he's going to use Careful Planning. That will allow him to activate after he draws Destiny. He will activate 5 cards. Again, he has already used his once per turn pool from keeping the Empire out forever. And as Justin just pointed out in the chat, this might equal to, it's a trap! And the battle at the West Gallery is canceled. Rey lives to fight another day. Tom still has 4 cards in his force pile. And 5 cards in his hand. Yes, Tom actually did that earlier in the game. He had 2 cards in his force pile, played Careful Planning, activated, and then played Alternatives to Fighting. Ozzel shuttles down to pair up with the Tempest Scout 6. Jared, we need to make bingo cards for these events. I think that would be fun. Somebody brought it up in the chat, and I wholeheartedly agree. Grievous moves over in front of Pukamir to block that drain of 1. While I do believe that Tom is a skilled player, I definitely regret picking him as my winner of the event. Gavin drawing up some cards. He's currently sitting at 22 cards in his life force. Tom has 14 in his life force. However, the big thing is Gavin has 11 cards in his hand. As Gavin will cycle a We Must Accelerate Our Plans, putting that back into his used pile to take a We Must Accelerate Our Plans out of his reserve deck. Barrier is currently the card that is grabbed on allegations of corruption. Tom continuing to draw. He can draw, again, with Tom shield busted at this point. He can draw up as many cards as he can. I don't think Tom is playing Grimtosh. And Matt, yes, Tom has been very successfully Wattoing this game. He has, I believe he has caused at least 6 points of damage just from the objective itself. The Tempest Scout 6 was the first thing he was able to deploy for free. Tom has left the room and then joined the room back. And here we go. Tom activating everything. He's got 14 force to work with this turn. However, again, he's going to take a card with Keeping the Empire Out Forever. He'll have 13 cards left to work with. He has a 5-card hand. Little surprised to see that Gavin did not initiate Up in Space. The only reason I'm saying that is because that would have then limited... that would have forced Tom to take a card off of I Don't Like Sand, and reducing the number of times that Tom was able to use it. There's Pukamir using Path of Least Resistance to move over to the guest quarters. As Justin pointed out in the chat, that's going to allow Tom to retrieve 3. Tom retrieving 3, he will retrieve Path of Least Resistance, It's a Trap, and Cloud City Celebration. This will also allow Tom to do 2 more points of damage to Gavin, increasing the damage total from 2 to 4. Gavin loses Saboba and Watto's Chance Cube, both from his hand. He will lose that to the drain at the Carbonite Chamber. Tom initiates another drain at the guest quarters, forcing Gavin to lose 2 cards. He'll lose We Must Accelerate Our Plans and another Lord Maul with Lightsaber. That is 2 gone for Gavin so far this game. Character-wise, we've already seen 2 Lord Maul with lightsabers go to the lost pile for Gavin. He's also lost a Kylo Ren with lightsaber. Kylo Ren slicing up Leia Organa in a battle, hitting her, causing 1 point of ping damage, and a 2 in overflow. Solo going down to the Upper Plaza corridor with Dash Rendar going down to the guest quarters. Interesting. Tom recirculates and pass turn to Gavin. He's only got a 3-card hand at this point. Gavin going to be able to work with up to 19 cards if he activates everything. Checking Eric Hunter in the chat, asking if Dash reacts. Yes, may move as a react. So he could react Dash. I believe he could... can he react from the guest quarters to the Upper Plaza corridor? Tom taking a card out of his force pile with Keeping the Empire Out Forever. Gavin's going to be able to do... He's going to do 3 points of damage this turn with 3 different drains, each causing 1 point of damage. He'll lose a careful planning off the top to the first drain. He'll lose big boomers off the top to the second one. Oh my gosh. Who had that on their bingo card? And he'll lose It's a Trap as well. And Gavin plays No Escape V. That's going to allow him to get that Lord Maul with lightsaber that was sitting there on the top of his lost pile. And he will use Maz. No, he loses 2 cards to You're a Slave, Maz Kanata, and another Arcana. And there he is, Lord Maul with lightsaber going down in front of Pukemir and Dash Rendar. This cannot be good for Tom. Can you dash a dash? Kirkanos coming down with Darth Vader with lightsaber. And again, Tom has already lost 2 Hojixes in this game. Solo will use his game text to play an interrupt from Lost Pile. I really don't think he's going to be able to. I mean, I'm almost positive Gavin's going to swing Lord Maul with lightsaber at Pukemir. Solo will play Path of Least Resistance to get Rey from the West Gallery all the way over to the guest quarters. Yes, yes, he has used Watto this turn. And Tom lost 2 cards. He lost Maz Kanata and an Arcana. Gavin's still in his deploy phase. Checking out his destiny with Watto. Gavin sitting at 20 cards in his life force, 8 cards in hand. Tom, 10 cards in his life force, 4 cards in his hand. Tom is literally down by half the cards. Nute Gunray joins Maul. Gavin has exactly the amount of cards in his reserve deck to swing the saber and to draw an extra destiny. Tom will play careful planning to draw destiny and activate that many. He draws a 1. He will activate 1 card, bringing his total up to 3. Will this allow him to play It's a Trap? No, It's a Trap. Gavin using Nute Gunray's game text to add a battle destiny. Tom taking a card off of sand. He'll take Saw Gerrera. Lord Maul will swing his mighty lightsaber at Rey. Draws a 4. All he needs to do is draw a 1 or higher here. If he draws a 0, Rey will not be hit. Otherwise, Rey will be sliced and diced. He draws a 1 for destiny. Does Tom have an answer? No. The weapon destiny is a 5. Rey will be sliced, diced, and reduced down to forfeit value of 0. Now, again, Tom will be able to use Dash Rendar to reduce the amount of attrition, and I believe it is just attrition. Total power and attrition, so it's a Bright Hope on the ground. Gavin draws a 4. Tom also draws a 4. However, his total will become a 5 with Rey. Dash needing to draw big here. Draws a 3. Oh, that means that Tom is going to have to... No, the characters are immune to attrition because of the independent operation. Rey will go to the Lost Pile, though. Nute Gunray joins her as well. Tom utilizing Dash Rendar to the best of his abilities. Gavin, 1 card in his force pile. Will he initiate again? Or will he move one of his characters? What will Gavin do? He is still in his battle phase. Gavin sitting at about 23 minutes left on his clock. Tom has about 32 minutes on his. Again, make sure you guys all stick around as Chris Schoenthal will have the call on the next game. Again, thank you for joining us as it does almost become midnight here on the East Coast. Gavin taking his time, thinking about what he wants to do here. We might see like a Mara Jade with lightsaber. That would be good. He might have Min. We've already seen him draw Moff Tarkin as Destiny. Again, Gavin is still in his battle phase. He's taking a little bit of a break here. And Gavin will initiate up in space. We have the Emperor's Personal Shuttle with the Vengeance against the Overseer and the Wild Card. Again, Gavin knows what his destiny are. Will Tom take the last card of I Don't Like Sand? I actually think that that might be the correct move, and he will take the last card off. It is going to be a Maz Kanata. Tom draws a 5 for his Destiny into total power, bringing his total up to 13. Gavin draws a 4 for Battle Destiny. Both those ships are immune. All Tom needs to do is draw a 1, and he won't lose any pings to the Vengeance. Tom draws a 4, so Tom will win the battle, and the Vengeance won't have to go loss. As both the Wild Card and the Harkseth are immune. No, Gavin will not lose the Vengeance. He'll lose the Emperor. This tells me that he has another Emperor in his hand, maybe. Now, personally, I don't like that play because now all Tom has to do is fight. Yes. Pointed out in the chat. It will now move from Gavin's turn over to Tom's. Gavin has no force saved. Again, he will be able to activate one with Wipe Them Out, all of them, during Tom's turn. However, Pukamir Thriss is still on the table. Tom is going to be able to drain for 2 at the Carbon Chamber. Gavin will play Imperial Command after Tom activates 5. Looking for an Admiral or a General. He'll grab Admiral Shiranu. Haven't seen that guy in a long time. Interesting that he takes Admiral Shiranu. I think this tells me that he has another Imperial Command in his hand. Maybe he's okay with losing the shuttle here. However, if Tom draws high enough, that would mean that the Vengeance would have to go away, and Shiranu, even though he wouldn't get the effects of the Vengeance. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have no force. I don't understand that battle. I understand that like a lot of people on the chat are asking the same question. So if the chat has any answers, they'd be greatly appreciated. Tom's going to activate everything. I don't know about that. I would have saved 2 force just so I could initiate. Gavin loses 2. He'll lose the Executor and Imbalance and Kitten Strider. He'll then activate 1. Tom will retrieve 2 with Cloud City Celebration. I don't think he did. Now, retrieving Figurin Dan and the modal nodes would be really big here. Tom retrieves Ray and an Arcana. Din Djarin going down onto the Wild Card. Lobot going down to the docking bay. Yoxkit joins him. Chirrut, Figure and Dan, one of the two. Tom needs to recirculate. Well, Dinjarin is up there in space with Harksef. And Tom recirculates and passes turn to Gavin. Wow, this game is getting crazier and crazier. He does not move Pukumir. He does not move Dash Rendar. Solo staring down General Grievous. Gavin sitting at 18 cards in Life Force, 7 in hand. Tom is sitting at 15 in Life Force and hand. I'm sorry, Gavin has 25 hand in life. Tom is sitting at 15. Again, the clock should not come into play this game. Gavin sitting at 20 minutes. Almost exactly. Tom sitting at 30, almost 31 minutes. Gavin thinking about what he wants to do. He is taking some time off the clock here. Again, game 2 will commence right after this game. And again, tomorrow we'll see a plethora of games. Again, games will start. The first game, again, tomorrow. Actually, I'm sorry. Tomorrow we'll have Brad Kipple versus Chris Wirfs, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Game 2 will follow that right afterwards. Thursday, however, is going to be jam-packed with Star Wars CCG action, starting at 10:30 Eastern with Sam Tashima versus Bill Pittman. Garrett will actually be doing the streaming for that one. And then Thursday evening, or I'm sorry, Thursday during the day, we're going to have Timo Dusel versus Joe Olson. Bill Kafer will be calling that one. That one's going to start at 2 Eastern. Game 2 will should be right after that one. And then to finish up the exciting Star Wars-filled day, myself and Mike Kessling will be streaming Drew Lichtenstein versus Mike Pistone. And then next Monday, we'll feature Mike Kessling versus Jared Napolitano at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here again for that one, everybody. That one's definitely going to be a fun one. And then over the weekend, we're going to see Game 2 of Justin Branch versus Jeff Levine. And then I believe we're also going to have Sam Tashima on Friday at 10:30. And then we're still waiting on our good friend Justin Desai and Matt Harrison Trainer to tell us when they're going to be playing. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the forums. Make sure you guys follow. Make sure you like, follow, and pay attention to the Star Wars CCG Twitter, because that's where we like to go on and post a lot of the information regarding all of these streaming events. Also, while we have a little break as Gavin is playing Force Push, why don't we go ahead and give away some... we're going to give away one GEMP AI pack to the first player, or the first person who can name me 5 unique aliens of a different species. 5 unique aliens of a different species that are light side. So whoever in the chat can name me 5 aliens with different species in the chat will win a GEMP AI pack. As Gavin is currently draining Tom, he'll lose a Maskanata from his hand. He'll also lose Path of Least Resistance as well. He lost to the Drain at the West Gallery, Moss Espa, and Watto's Junkyard. Just an aside, I did say unique aliens, Justin. And Mike, I said unique. Don't worry, you'll have a second to try here again. Blizzard 4 going down for free in front of Lobot and Yoxkit. I will take it. Maximus Meridius 13, please let me know who you are. And there's our Sing with Blaster Rifle going down in front of Lando and Maz Kanata. Oh, you are correct, Jared. Lando does not have a species. I'm sorry, Nick. You do not qualify for that one. Please give me 4, or please give me 5 aliens. Figuring in Din Djarin, Solo, Monmouth Nadu, and Chewie. Chewie is not an alien. Mike Kessling. Chewie is a rebel. And he's a white border card from Hoth Premier. Here we go. We have a fight up in space. Admiral Shiranu and the Emperor on the shuttle against Hark Sef on the Overseer and Din Djarin on the wild card. And Justin comes in and steals it from Mike. Gavin draws 2 Destiny. He'll draw a 3 for the first one after Tom draws a 4 for his Destiny to Power. And then Gavin draws a 7. That is heartbreaking for Tom. Tom draws a 3 for his first Battle Destiny. If he is able to draw up to 9 here, he won't take the Vicious ping. He draws a 1, so he will take the Vengeance ping, or the Vengeance ping. So Tom is down by 5. However, the attrition is enough. The Vengeance is not immune to attrition, so either Shiranu or the Emperor will have to go to the loss pile. Tom will lose Saw Gerrera from his hand, and there goes Shiranu. Din Djarin triggers, so Tom's actually going to be able to retrieve some force. Tom will pay the 1, keeping Shiranu in the loss pile. So he'll retrieve the Saw Gerrera that he lost to the Vengeance ping. And there goes Din Djarin and Hark Sef. The Overseer sticks around with the wild card floating aimlessly through space. Now we have another battle. Lobot and Yoxkit versus staring down the Walker, the Chicken Walker, and the Admiral Ozzel. And interesting enough, Tom is about to attempt to try and deploy an alien as a react. However, he does not. If he was able to, Admiral Ozzel would have went to the loss pile. Gavin draws a 4 for Battle Destiny, bringing his power up to 18. Tom will draw a 1 to bring his total up to 6. However, he is able to take the card into hand. That will cancel it. He draws a 5, so he's going to have a total of 10. Tom sitting down, having to lose up to 8 in forfeit value. He'll lose Yoxkit. He'll lose Lobot. Ozzel and the Walker stick around. Gavin, 19 cards in Life Force and 1 in hand. Tom, 3 cards in hand and 9 in Life Force. Gavin has no cards left in his reserve deck, so we will not see a battle anywhere else. Unless he simply just wants to overpower Tom. Nope. Gavin's going to draw some cards, bringing his hand total up to 4. Tom activates, saving 2 cards in his reserve deck. We'll reveal the top 2 cards of his deck with Maskanata. Takes a card with keeping the Empire out forever. Activates 2 more cards. No cards in reserve deck. And he will, however, retrieve 2 with Cloud City Celebration. He'll retrieve the Lobot and the Yoxkit that he lost to the fight against Admiral Ozzel and the Tempest Scout 6. Ray going down in front of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Unfortunately, that might not be enough. He did not save any cards in his reserve deck, so he cannot get rid of Thrawn. And he will recirculate after taking a card out of his reserve or out of his use pile and pass turn over to Gavin. Gavin again with 16 cards in his Life Force, 4 cards in his hand. Gavin activating 9 to save 6. And unfortunately for Tom, he's not going to get any Battle Destiny up there in space. But I do not think that is going to come into play here. But we shall see. Gavin's still in his activate phase. Thinking about if he wants to activate more, if he wants to go back, determining what he wants to do. He will activate 1 more. I guess his math was 1 card off. There's the drain at the Watto's Junkyard. Tom will lose Ayla Secure out of his hand. Drain at the Docking Bay. Tom losing Saw Gerrera from the top of his reserve deck. And he'll drain for 1 at the West Gallery. As he loses Ahsoka Tano with Lightsaber off the top. Tom, 7 cards in his Life Force. Gavin still sitting at 16. Gavin initiates the objective, putting a card down for free. Will he deploy for free? Tom uses the 2 Force, allowing the Zuckuss and Forlom and Mist Hunter to deploy for free. They will deploy to Malastir. Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba deploy to the guest quarters. And Gavin initiates up in space. Tom plays careful planning for the umpteenth time. Draws a 4 for Destiny. This will allow him to activate 4. As he plays alternatives to fighting to cancel the battle up in space. However, it might not come into play here as Gavin initiates with Lord Maul with lightsaber and Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba against Pukamir and Dash Rendar. Lord Maul with lightsaber will swing at Pukamir, whose ability of 1, defense value of 1. Gavin draws a 5. I believe a 5 is greater than 1, so Pukamir is going to be hit. Forfeit value equals 0. However, I do believe that Gavin will utilize Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba to operate on him and send him to the lost pile. And Gavin will just do that. Does Tom have an answer? Does he have a path of least resistance here? He does not. Gavin draws a 3 for Battle Destiny. Becomes a 4 with Lord Maul with lightsaber, bringing his total up to 17. However, Tom can still utilize Dash Rendar. He is going to attempt to use Dash Rendar, drawing a 3 to reduce the power and attrition down to 1. However, Tom is still down by 6. He has 8 cards in his reserve deck, and he will peel cards down to 2. Gavin initiates Arsing with Blaster Rifle against Maz and Lando. Tom has no cards in his reserve deck. Arsing will shoot Lando, drawing a 4. That's going to hit Lando. Again, making him forfeit value of 0. Gavin draws a 4 to bring his total 8. However, I believe his total is going to be reduced by 3, so all Tom's going to have to do is lose Maz. Well, he's going to have to lose Maz and Lando. Or he can simply lose the 2 cards in his life force. Tom will just do that, and Gavin will take game 1 by 16. Gavin, 15 in life force. Or I'm sorry, 15 in lost pile to Tom's 39. Everybody, well, thank you for tuning in. We will have game 2 here in just a second. I'm actually going to go ahead and tell both of our players to hold up for just 1 second. As I will switch over to Chris Schoenthal. So thank you all for tuning in with me. Maximus, ping me on Slack or Gamp or something. We'll get you taken care of. But thank you all for tuning in. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you guys later. Have a good evening.